What's up, Internet? You're tuning in episode 110 of the Steam Deck Podcast, Flipscreen Games' weekly gaming podcast, all about Valve's portable PC powerhouse, the Steam Deck. I'm your host, Pete and Bessie, joined today by my very good friend and co-host, Mr. Steven Radford.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Steve. I would say welcome back, but you were welcomed back last week.
It's welcome back for you.
Welcome back, me.
You weren't here, you know.
That's true.
Yeah, it's like welcome back, Pete.
The boys are back, sans Max.
Yeah. And I was watching High School Musical 3 last night, so the boys are back is firmly in my head. Yeah.
3? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I've never seen that 3. one. They sing The Boys Are Back in Town in that song?
They sing The Boys Are Back. There's the song called The Boys Are Back. It's terrible. That movie sucks. They should have stopped at High School Musical 1, really. Or maybe none of them, but, you know.
No, I think the first one, I think, has its merits as, like, a campy, you know? If you're a theater kid in the aughts, you probably liked High School Musical.
I did like it.
Yeah.
I was that.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't have to be, not everything needs to be good. You can just like things. It's okay to like things that are campy and silly. That's okay.
The thing with number 3 is it had a budget, and that's, I think, what loses its charm. It's no longer
I needed it to be gritty and close to the ground.
No, I needed it to look like a Disney Channel movie, not a Disney movie in the theater.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna get us back on track here. If we want to talk about High School Musical 3, we'll save that for after dark.
Oh yeah, you should watch that. You should watch it.
We'll review it if you want. I've never seen it. I've only seen the first one. Anyway, we're here to talk about Steam. All right, we got the Steam Game Recording. The new version of Steam Game Recording dropped this past week. It's now available to everyone. Hori Steam Controller is coming to the United States, and you can pre-order it now. And then, of course, our friends over at Overkill are doing the State of Steam Deck Survey 2024. So we're going to be talking about all that on this week's episode of the Steam Deck Podcast. Steve, talk to me about Steam Game Recording. I know we just recently got the update that brought this live. I've seen all of the prompts and everything on my deck. I've not used it yet. How have you gotten to mess around with it at all?
Have you not?
No.
Well, I've been using this since preview earlier this year. I can't remember when it was. I think it was maybe like April. Like it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
This has been in testing. And now it's finally in stable, and it's great. Like, I can't imagine life without it. You can set it up in 3 ways. So you can either have it where you have it off, and then you turn it on, and you record manually, and it will start and stop recording. Or you can have it do what I do, which is record in the background. And then it kind of works how it works on PlayStation and Xbox, or even on Switch, where you can say, record that clip, and it will record, and you can leave basically a marker on a timeline. And then once you finish your gaming session, you can go through and look at all the markers you've set and kind of slice out the section of video that you wanted. It basically just adds a marker on the timeline. It's really, really smart. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
Then straight from there, you can share it with friends. You can save the clip. You can export it as a video file if you're on your PC. If you're on your Steam Deck, you can send it to another device, including your phone. Basically, it sends an email link. Or you can create a share link and share it on social media with friends, that kind of thing. It's really cool. It's really, really cool. They've added a bunch more things that allows deeper integration for developers now, and they've opened up a bit more of an SDK to them. So there's indicators that says whether you're in the menu, a lobby, playing now, that developers can add to the timeline. So you can just go straight to the section you're looking for, that you know that this is a section where you're playing a game rather than just in a game menu or in a lobby waiting to play. It's really cool. It's really cool. And I think games can also now add specific markers. I know you can add specific markers, but I think games can say, right, here was a boss, or here was an achievement that you got, and put that marker on the timeline as well. So it's going to be interesting to see this evolve as developers play with it a little bit more and are able to kind of have a bit more of a deeper integration.
Yeah, I'm seeing on Steam's store page about it, the events that you're talking about, and it's indicate when something notable happens, a boss battle, unlocking a new item, scoring a goal. So it seems like it's kind of similar to the functionality on PlayStation 5 now with the trophies, right? Where it's like when you get a trophy unlocked, it gives you, it would always take like a screenshot of when you unlocked it, but now it has like a little like graphic around it basically that like, you know, kind of highlights what you've achieved or whatever. So it seems like, yeah, I guess you'll have the option to do something like that, which is pretty cool. For developers who want to take advantage of it, like it's neat that there's like the option if you want to, you know, I could see that being really useful for like online games and stuff with like, you know, I remember like when I was playing like Overwatch back in the day, right? And you'd have like the play of the game at the end of every match, and like it would be cool if you had like a particularly like cool, like, you know, you just got like a pentakill or something like that, and then it's like you push the button and it's like pentakill, right? And shows it off. Like that would be really great for social sharing and stuff like that.
I mean, Valve has got that shown off as an example in Dota 2. So all of Valve's multiplayer games, then the newest ones, Dota, Deadlock, Counter-Strike, they've all been updated to be a timeline enhanced game that they call it now, which allows them to provide like additional context. So they've got an example where you can search for a tag, you can search for Axe, which is one of the players in the game, and you can see whenever that player's like specifically on the screen, it's like tagged in the timeline, so you can jump to whenever you're playing with someone, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of stuff that developers can do with it. I'm interested to see how many people take advantage of it. Obviously, Valve's going to take advantage of it. It's their system, but it remains to be seen if this, you know, makes it into, say, Diablo 4 or Overwatch or anything like that from a third-party developer.
I was also taking a look at some of the Q&As, and I thought there was a couple things worth pointing out. There's a question like, what will Steam record? And it says that it will capture any gameplay footage of games played through the Steam client. It will not capture video of your desktop or other programs. You can choose to include the audio from other programs, such as voice chat programs. When recording and sharing, be respectful of others, you know, abide by the agreement, all that good stuff. So I guess that means you'd be able to use this for stuff that you're playing through EmuDeck and pretty much anything that's not like the, you know, like something like the Epic Game Store or whatever, where you have to kind of circumnavigate and go through desktop mode. It seems like it'll be pretty versatile, right? Like you could theoretically use it for almost anything you can play on your deck.
I believe so, yeah. As long as you've added it to Steam and you're playing it in gaming mode.
Yeah, like through the client.
Yeah, so you have to play it through gaming mode. You couldn't go into desktop and like open up, say, you know, Ryujinx or something over there if you wanted to. You'd have to run it through. But then you could just do whatever you wanted. And you can include like audio from, say, Discord if you've got that running as well, if you wanted to, and have that
playing a multiplayer game, that sort of thing, you know.
Yeah, it's really cool.
The one other thing I wanted to call out that I thought was cool too, because I imagine this is the thing people would have a question about. Will it affect performance, right? Like, will it impact your gameplay? And they say specifically it's been designed with the goal of taking as little computer resources away from the game as you're playing as possible. It takes advantage of NVIDIA and AMD graphics cards to remove most of the performance costs of creating video recordings. When run on systems without those graphic cards, the system's CPU is used to create video recordings, which may cause a notable performance impact on those systems. So if you're on NVIDIA or AMD, which, you know, almost everyone is, then it shouldn't have a major impact to your performance, which is great because, you know, that's obviously a pretty big concern.
Yeah, and obviously they've been testing this on Steam Deck for months. Like I said, it is Steam Deck verified. They're calling it that, and I've had no real issue with it. I've not noticed it. I think when I did some testing, it was negligible. It was like I maybe lost 2 frames on some intensive seconds in the game.
Sure,
it's nothing that you'll really notice. And if you're capping the game with like a 45 FPS frame limit in the quick access menu, you won't really notice it. And it works great. It's well worth it, I think. When you're playing multiplayer games, I think it's definitely worth having the kind of record that, or just, you know, I want to snap what I've just seen functionality on. But I've even found that in some single player games that I've wanted to do that. You know, usually it's like when I'm playing something like a Bethesda game and I want to record all the glitches that are happening. But even when playing,
dude,
like, say,
No. Finish your thought. You
Even
made
when
me
playing
think of a
like
funny clip.
Zelda or Tears of the Kingdom, for example, I remember all the clips that were happening from that, and this now enables people to
Yeah.
share clips from basically any PC, which is really nice.
Yeah, it's really nice, and again, not having to like have it be connected to a social media app or like a proprietary app or something that you can just like email the link to yourself is really great. Much simpler. But yeah, you just said that, and it reminded me like my favorite clip I have from any game is I have this clip from Red Dead Redemption 2 where I hopped into a like a corral that was like filled with cows, and I killed one of them because I wanted to like get leather or something,
Mhm.
and it freaked all the other cows out, and they like started stampeding towards the fence, but they didn't like have any kind of collision, so they just kept running at the fence, and my character like couldn't, there was no space I could physically move, so it's just like 30 seconds of him being like, oh shit, and then he just dies. It's so fun. It's so hilarious. Like, those are the moments that you're happy to have this kind of functionality where you can just be like, all right, cool, I don't have to like be connected and running OBS 24/7 if I want to catch fun organic moments, you know?
Yeah, those are great. But even stuff like, I love being able to see clips of people petting animals, for example. And I remember Kirk Hamilton, formerly of Kotaku, now of
Triple click.
Triple Click. He was obsessed with like closing car doors in video games. He was like playing The Division, and he'd close every car door as he went near, and he'd just clip every single time he'd close a car door and put them together in like a big montage. It was really funny.
So funny. Yeah, I love uh I don't remember. I thought it was a Twitter account. Maybe it's on Instagram, but it's like, can I pet the dog? And it's just like, yes, you can pet the dog in Final Fantasy 16. Yes, you can pet the dog in Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's good content.
Yeah, definitely. And developers are putting it in there just specifically for those accounts that are tracking it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the thing, right? Is that like part of the way that people want to engage with stuff in the era of social media is like sharing funny little novel experiences, and like those are the times I actually enjoy being online, for stuff like that. Is like that was a really fun part of Tears of the Kingdom, but like Breath of the Wild before that too is like, look at this crazy thing that I found, or look at this thing that I built, and and like how that inspires conversation and other players, and like how like a design would catch on, and then everyone was using a certain design, and then someone would iterate on that, and just like the kind of cultural conversation that ends up happening. It's really facilitated by being able to clip stuff out and show people.
Yeah, 100%. And along with this, there is like a slight update to Steam this week as well that came out on Monday. It's just an addition to the one we previously had, where basically it fixes an issue where multiple screenshots would be taken if you had game recording turned on rather than just a single one. And they also improved performance in Metaphor ReFantasia by 20%, which was just insane. Like,
Hell
I don't know how they do that.
yeah, that's awesome.
One thing I noticed, Pete, in the notes that's not Steam Deck related, but goes back to a conversation we had a few weeks ago. They've added support for wired Xbox controllers on macOS Sequoia.
Oh,
So I'm pretty convinced that the emulation for Mac laptops is coming. Because why would you add controller support for the Mac when there's very few Mac games specifically on Steam?
no, I think you're right. That's exciting. Steam's taking over, man.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a huge client update, but you'll get that automatically. There's just a bunch of small changes there.
It's pretty interesting. It's an interesting time for PC gaming right now. For a lot of reasons, but many of which are beyond the scope of this conversation that we'll hold on to for a future episode. So yeah, this is really cool. I think this is a W. This is like it seems like it's a really great set of tools, and it's really nice that we'll all have access to this now. I will try to give it some attention, because I've been playing a lot of like, there's new games I'm playing now, but in the lead up to those I was playing a lot of like very just like random old like platformers and stuff. Like I rebeat Ape Escape the other day for the first time since I was like 11, and I had a couple moments where I was like, oh man, I would love to share some of these cutscenes because they're incredible.
Yeah, the one thing I didn't add to the run of the show this week was the delisting of all the Sega classics. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh no, I missed that.
Like, yeah, they're delisting it from every platform. So if you didn't get the classics bundle, as of the 6th of December, they're going. So you've got until the 6th of December to buy them.
Why? I wonder why.
I don't know. Have no clue why, but there's a ton of games in there, like, you know, some favorites: Echo the Dolphin, Golden Axe, the Sonic games, Rise Star, Streets of Rage. All of them are going. They're not just going from Steam; they're going from every platform. So if you want it, make sure you get it.
I wonder if this is like a Horizon Grand Theft Auto thing where they're going to do a new version and they're
possibly, yeah.
Because I can't imagine it's a rights thing, right? Like they own all the games in the collection.
Yeah, and they're 89p each, 99 cents each. So like if there's one game you want, it's worth picking it up, you know. But you know, and I do think you should support it. I know you can emulate these things, but it is an option. And the reviews were very positive until they recently decided to delist them. So the emulation's pretty solid on them.
It's a shame. I bet you there's a new game announcement coming.
I hope so. I do hope so. Like I've always thought it was weird that there's not a single app for that they're all individual downloads. Like it kind of feels like you could have, similar to what Jackbox did, right, recently with the Mega Picker. You should have just a Sega app and you open it and all the Sega games there, like Atari 50 did. They had all really of the games in Atari 50. That was really cool. Love to see them do something like that.
Yeah. Shall see. All right, so let's talk about the Hori Pad. But before we do that, let me remind you that this episode of the Steam Deck Podcast is brought to you by our Patreon producers for the month of November. They are, of course, Arnold J. Rimmer, Christopher Valenz, Steve Stompy, Susan Likes Cats and Also Boobies, Ty the Dude, Voodoo Vic, and Wakahula. Thank you all so much for your support over on patreon.com/flipscreengames. You all the realest of the real, and we greatly appreciate your support of this and all of our sister shows. Those being Nintendo Noise and the Flip Screen Games podcast. If you want to go check them out, we had some really fun episodes this week. I got to talk about my first 10 hours with Dragon Age the Veilguard, and then on Nintendo Noise, Ken and I talked a bit about Pokemon trading card game Pocket and our impressions on the first week or so of fun on that game. So if you want to go check out those conversations, I think they were really good, and I think if you enjoy the show, you'll probably enjoy them too. Oh, right, and then all the other things. Flipscreen.games. I'm tired. It's been a week, everybody, okay? Let's get to the Hori Pad.
I don't know what would have happened in America this week.
Don't know what. So we're...
I do know what happened in America this week. The Hori Pad for Steam came there. That's what happened, Pete.
Finally, some good fucking food.
Yeah. Are you excited about this? We spoke about this a while ago. This is like the wireless spiritual successor to the Steam controller from Hori. It's got like a bunch of features that you would expect. Like you've got the additional buttons on the back. There's the capacitive thumbsticks so that you can enable and disable gyro if you want to. But there's some notable missing features. Number one being no rumble. That's the big headline, that there's no rumble on the controllers. What's your make of it?
For me, like rumble is something that like I appreciate.
It's not a last generation feature. That's a throwback to when the 6-axis controller was announced. That rumble was the last generation feature.
Thank you. I was that reference when I'm telling you, I'm fucking tired, man. This week has been exhausting. I've slept so little. Sorry, folks. I'm doing my best here. And yes, I think Rumble is a great feature when it's implemented well. I'm a fan of the DualSense controller, right? I enjoyed Astrobot a lot this year, and that functionality was really appreciated. But it's not a make or break for me, you know? When I'm playing on my Steam Deck, it's not vibrating, right? Like, when I'm playing on Switch, it's not vibrating.
It does vibrate a little bit, you know? Not crazy.
I don't know. Not that I've ever noticed. So maybe it does, and I'm just. But again, I guess that is the point, right? Like it's like
the vibration comes from the trackpads, so it's not like insane.
That's what I
vibration.
mean. That's different. That's like giving me feedback, and I appreciate that's important. But I'm talking about Rumble as like a interactive feature, like a 4D feature or whatever, right? Like an immersive experience. That's something that I appreciate, but it's not a deal breaker, right? It's like, to me, the thing about this that I'm most that I feel like is most missing is trackpads. Is not having trackpad functionality. It limits the applications of it, right, for playing anything that you could play on Steam Deck. And I think, as much as I don't like the original Steam controller, right, like that was very much, I think, kind of the thought there, was that having that more experimental like trackpad system would allow you to have mouse and keyboard style controls. And then I think that was obviously fully realized on the Steam Deck, because the trackpads there are really great. So that said, I can still see how I could get use out of this, because there are a lot of games I play on Steam Deck where that's not a factor, and I wouldn't use the trackpad for anything anyway. You and I were just talking earlier this week about like on Flip Screen Games when we talked about Dragon Age, right? And you were like, oh, like, did you think about getting it on PC? And like, if I ended up getting it on Xbox, because that's where I've always played them, and it just made sense to me. But had I done that, one of the primary ways I was planning on playing it was streaming, from my rig to my deck upstairs and playing it on the TV, right? And
That would have been killer.
Yeah, and this would be perfect for that. And any of, like, if I'm playing a platformer, if I'm playing a AAA game like that, whatever, right? Like, those games are just looking to use a traditional controller. And with that in mind, I mean, this, I don't really see any downside to this then, aside from the fact that, like, my other controllers work just fine. Like, that's
the thing, right? Yeah, the other controllers work fine, and I think the thing that's really kind of making me want this controller is the additional paddles, like the additional buttons that you
on
can
the back,
customize on the back, and
Agreed.
the capacitive thumbsticks, because I love those thumbsticks. I know you're not a gyro guy, but for me, I'm a big gyro guy, and I love being able to like turn them on and off when I'm playing something like Deceive Inc. on my deck.
I'll tell you what, I might be coming around on it, because I'm playing. I know it's not the third fucking time I mentioned it in like 3 sentences, but yes, I'm playing Dragon Age, and when I've been aiming the bow and arrow, I like caught myself the first night I was playing wanting to aim it to do gyro like you do in Horizon.
Yeah,
and I was like,
Horizon.
I do, like, I don't like it in a game like Splatoon, where I have to be like whipping it around to move the camera, and it's like that is a bridge too far for me. But for like the way you like to use it, those like fine motor adjustments, rather than having to move the stick and then and like readjust and all that kind of stuff, like maybe. Which is really cool that it does support that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it does, and it's got a quick access menu button, so you don't have to hold down like the PlayStation button and hit X, or the Xbox button and hit A to bring out the quick access menu. It's just a nice little quality of life thing. It's clearly designed for this, which is good. I do wish they'd
It also has custom settings in Steam, which I like. Like, you can adjust sensitivity of everything, like all that's built into Steam. So I like, there are advantages to it that make me consider it, for sure.
Yeah, it's very much they've done it in partnership with Valve, which is nice. And we know that they'd added all that stuff in a while back, but this was only released in Japan like 3 or 4 months ago, and now it's finally coming to the US. Still no sign of a European release. Hopefully we get some announcement on that soon, because I would love to put one of these on my Christmas list. This would be a great little edition, because it's a decent price. I think $60. I don't think it's a bad price.
That's a good price for a controller.
Yeah, it's got
the average Xbox PlayStation price is $70 now. So right?
Yeah,
or $80
exactly.
I didn't even remember, but yeah.
No idea how the sticks are going to hold up on this compared to like an Xbox or a PlayStation controller. Because the alternatives is you go for like an 8-bit DO controller, right, which has those Hall effects sticks on there, which would never drift.
Yeah, and I do like those controllers a lot. I have an 8-bit DO controller that I really like. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. I think I want one because I think I want to use my Steam Deck in dock mode more now that I have my really sick rig that I can,
Oh, dude, yeah.
stream games to or from.
And that streaming's got like a boost this week as well. I don't know if you saw in those notes that we probably should have gone through a little bit more, but they've added support for AV1, the video codec, which I would imagine your I don't know what graphics card you've got, but if it's anything since like a 20 series, you've got AV1 support. So
I forget what the number is because I'm just not that dialed in, but I have not the newest one that they just put out, but like the one from the series before that. So yeah, it would
like
be
the 3080, 3090, something like that.
Yeah, I think the 3080. I think I
You know
can't
what?
I can't quite remember.
Are you on your PC right now? Because I can see what it is if you
are. Hold on. I'm not, but I'm in front of it. I can turn it on and.
Oh yeah, no, we'll do it off mic. But weirdly, we use Video Ninja for the show, and I can see Pete's PC specs. It's really
cool. Okay. Yeah, I'm on my laptop right now.
Yeah, you are. You're using Intel HD Graphics 400, so not anything crazy.
No, not a good one. It's a fine workhorse computer though. It does fine. Not for gaming though.
You might be able to play the Sims 1 on it.
Yeah, yeah. Like you can play stuff on it, but not anything too intensive. That's what the new rig's for. I am excited to put some more time into that. I've been a little preoccupied, so like I got it, set it up, and like I've tinkered with it a little bit, but I've not like fully committed to it being like my main computer yet, because it's like I'm still in that process of like installing everything on it and moving all my files over. It's like every time I sit down to use it, I'm like I sit at it for like an hour and like do a bunch of work, and then it's like, all right, cool, I'm done. I guess I'll come back. But I think I'm like almost ready to like fully transition over to that one, which will be nice. But so yeah, I think
fingers crossed not long.
This is one I think I would like to see some reviews and see how people feel about the quality of the sticks and everything. But yeah, I think if the word on it is good, I might bite on this one. Would it be a day one pickup for you if it came to the UK?
See, I don't really. These are the kind of things that I don't buy for myself. I've got so many controllers. I've got a Steam controller. I've got an Xbox controller. I've got a PlayStation controller. I had a Stadia controller kicking around for a while. So like,
I remember
Switch Pro controller. So like, adding another controller to my arsenal for no reason is a difficult thing for me to justify. So it would be the kind of thing that someone would buy me for Christmas or for my birthday.
Yeah,
it would be. It's a perfect gift in the same way that I've always wanted one of the Xbox Design Lab controllers, but I'm just like, I can't justify buying one of those. As beautiful as they are and as lovely as they are, and I'd love I know they've got the Xbox Elite controllers on there now. I can't justify it.
I don't know where it is. I thought it was behind me on this, but I have a Design Labs controller from the Xbox One generation that I made that I really like, and I like every time I look at it, I'm like, well, it sure would be cool to make a new one of these. But I'm kind of with you because like that's like I have like I said, I have an 8BitDo controller and I really like it, but I don't use it that often because it's not as convenient as using the other controllers that are in more regular rotation for me, and it's not a versatile enough controller that I can use it for any kind of game. It's like certain kind of games I really like it for, and others it's a little bit less ideal. And yeah, I don't know. I like the Xbox controller so much too that like it's like it's so easy to just use that. And I love
the feature where you like double tap the sync button and it can sync betwing two devices.
I love that feature in theory. It's never quite worked for me, but
it always works for me.
Dude, it's so funny, and like I it must be a me thing. Like I must just be doing something wrong, but like
because Max does it too.
I know Max does it, and like I've watched tutorials, I've done it, I've set it up. Like I'm not an idiot, Like I know we joke that like a lot more than Max and I. I've been hacking stuff and doing this kind of stuff since I was 13. Like I have a lot more knowledge about it than the average person, and I for whatever reason, my Xbox controllers just do not ever play nice unless they're plugged in. Like it's always been a thing. It's and like
That's a shame.
I don't
That's a
know.
shame. Maybe get one of the the dongles to plug into your dock.
Yeah. Yeah, right. And like that would be fine. Like I've said that to you. Like I use a PlayStation controller on my Steam Deck more often than not because it just connects easier. Like if for whatever reason, like the Bluetooth just like it always is finicky. Whereas like my PlayStation controller, the first time I turn it on, it just works. And it's like
no, the problem I've got with that controller is the battery life lasts about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy. I don't know why Sony can't make a controller that lasts a decent period of time. Whereas I bet if I've not used my Switch in like 6 months, I bet if I go down and I turn on my Pro controller, it'll have like
probably has a charge. Yeah.
it's just insane.
I don't know. Like they got to put the battery they had in the PlayStation Vita in that thing because that thing I remember would be like I'd be off for like 3 weeks and then I turn it on. It's like I still got to charge. What the fuck? It's like why is it such a stacked battery? I think that's one of the other things about this that I did give me a little bit of pause. It said that it looks like it has about a 12-hour battery life, which is like that's not very long.
No, it's not.
That's pretty short.
I don't know how long the Switch Pro controller advertises.
Because like 12 hours is like that's like 3 sessions too. If you're playing a long time, it's like it's not great.
Switch Pro controller has 40-hour battery life.
Right. How just for the sake of what's the for the PlayStation?
Oh, there's no way the DualSense is actually hitting what they say anyway.
No, but what do they claim?
6 to 12 hours.
Okay, so that's how long this would be then.
Yeah, and if you're getting on with the PS5 controller, then you'd be fine with this.
Yeah,
but 6 hours? Seriously?
It's not that long.
I've played non-stop for longer than that. Yeah. And that's probably a bit unhealthy, and I shouldn't admit that. But like, I have
whatever.
Longer than 6 hours.
You're exercising now. It's fine. Yeah, I mean, like, to your point, if you're getting on with that, then you're probably fine. But it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I have 2 PlayStation 5 controllers, and it's like, oh, no, actually, I guess I have 3. I bought 2, and I, like, always have one on a charger for exactly that reason, because it's like, well, this one's gonna die, and then I'll plug this one in, and
I just have a USB-C cable by my couch now.
Oh, so I also have that if I forget, but I like to have the other one charged so I don't have to sit there wired, you know.
I don't mind being wired, to be fair, but it's just so frustrating. I mean, I love that everything's USB-C now, so I can just plug it in, you know. Oh, I want to plug my computer in. I want to plug my Steam Deck in. I want to plug this controller in. Everything's
I just have a USB-C charger plugged into, like, every outlet in my house. It's just anywhere I go, there's a charger.
Yeah, it's nice.
So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I think I may, like you, put this one on the Christmas list, and if somebody wants to get it for me, then I can review it. All right, so let's close things out by talking about this is a bit of a PSA. So our friends over at Overkill have launched the third annual State of the Steam Deck survey.
See, I never know how that works, because some people say it's like, is it the third annual, the second annual, the first annual? Like, when do you say it's the annual?
If anyone tells you it's the first annual, they're an asshole. That's what I'm gonna say to you, and that's hyperbole. You're probably a fine person, but like, you can't say it's the first annual. It's the first one. It hasn't happened annually yet. If the event fails, it's not going to happen, which means it's not annual. So don't tell me that shit. And who the fuck knows, right? Like, what about an event that was, it's first annual in 2019 and then it was 2020? Did they have another one? When was the next one? 2-3 years later? It's not annual. Don't call it that. You can start calling it annual on the second one. That's fine.
Then okay, in which case, this is the third annual one then.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. So it is. They're good.
Yeah, they're all right.
They might have called it first annual the first time, and if they did, I'm sorry, I just called you guys assholes. Chris and Kevin, you're my friends.
Chris has been doing the
State of the Switch
Weekly newsletter and the State of Switch for years. I think
That's true.
He's gonna do it anyway.
True. That is different. If you're like, I'm adding a new version of the thing that you've seen me reliably complete for 8 years, it's like, all right, fair enough. You know, it's like I trust Chris's word on that one. So yeah, you know, Chris and Kevin, both friends of the show. They've both been on, but Chris especially has been a longtime friend of the show to both of us. We've known him for a long time. He's a great guy, and he comes on every year to do an episode with us where we go through all the data from the State of the Switch survey. And we did the same thing with the second annual State of Steam Deck. That was a fun episode last year. So we will definitely do one of those episodes with one or both of them at some point this year. And if you're not familiar, it's basically just a wide range of questions about kind of everything about the hardware. It's like questions about hardware, what model you have, if you've installed mods, do you use it for emulation? Do you use it docked? Do you use it on the go? Do you ever use it in desktop mode? All those kinds of things. And then Chris takes all of the results from the survey. He goes and does a really, really excellent piece of data journalism every year where he gives you these nice graphs and breaks all the information down and identifies interesting pieces of information and then gives you all of the data so you can see everybody's responses. I'm a big fan of data journalism. I'm a big nerd for that kind of stuff. I love looking at charts and graphs and breaking down trends and stuff like that. So if you have any interest in that sort of thing, if you have any interest in, just kind of getting a sense for how the rest of the community is using the Steam Deck and where you fall in some of those trends and everything, I think it's something that you should absolutely check out. And I think even if you're not interested in that sort of thing, I would ask you as a personal favor to the show to just go and complete the survey. It'll take you 10 minutes, and it would be really helpful for Chris and Kevin and Overkill to get your data and to have your voice represented in the data. So yeah, go and get involved. Check it out. We'll have a link to it down below where you can go and take the survey for yourself. We'll get your questions ready for when they come on and talk about it, because it's always a really fun episode for me. I love doing that episode every year.
Yeah, it's always fun. We always find out something interesting. None of us realized how many people use the trackpads for actually playing games rather than just navigating menus last year.
Yeah.
So there's some new questions on the survey this year, about streaming services and things like that. Our buddies at Boosteroid get a mention, Pete. Are you excited about that? See if see if people playing Call of Duty on Boosteroid.
Our buddies at Boosteroid. It's worth calling out too. If you are one of the folks who listens who doesn't have a Steam Deck yet, you can also still take the survey. There are questions that account for people who don't own a Steam Deck but are interested in buying one. So if you listen to the show, you should take the survey.
Yeah, 100%.
You all right over there?
Yeah, there's police just up the road, and they just flashed, and I have no idea what they're doing there.
Cool,
so,
fun. Yeah. I just saw your head just dart.
It just went boom, straight like that, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
It's the reaction I have every time I see my cat climb into the ceiling out of the corner of my eye. Oh shit! Okay, so that's all I got today. Any final thoughts, Steve?
No, good episode.
Great episode.
It's nice to have you back, Pete. Last week, I derailed the episode with Max a million times, and this week I managed to do it again with High School Musical 3. So I'm really excited that I was able to do that even when you were back.
It's so funny. I saw comments from people who are just oh, this was a crazy one. I was I'm gone for one fucking week, and you guys lose it.
Hey, it was Max. I blame Max.
That's fair. But you got to be the adult in the room then, Steve.
Hey, I can't help it. I'm susceptible to peer pressure, right?
Sure, fair enough. Well, all right, folks. Thank you guys for joining us here on another episode of the Steam Deck Podcast. If you want to check out the rest of the shows, you want to show your support, you want to get involved, head over to flipscreen.games, however you choose to get involved. We appreciate you being a part of the community and tuning in every week. And, take care of each other. Be good. Have a good week. And we'll see you next week. We love you.